Hello everyone. I welcome every one of you for this demo session on Selenium WebDriver. Let me give a very brief introduction about myself to all of you. I have been training several thousands of students for the last 10 years on different automation tools that are used in the software industry, starting from WinRunner, QTP, LoadRunner, JMeter, and now the most popular and widely used automation tool, which is Selenium WebDriver. My name is Shaker. Let us focus on this term called automation for a couple of minutes. Automation is very extensively used in the software industry today. And the reason why people are behind automation is to release the softwares very soon to the customer because of the heavy competition that lies between different organizations today. People do not want to spend long times to test their softwares, and automation is going to save a lot of time and money for these organizations. And hence the great demand for people who have learned or know automation tools in the industry today. So that's a brief background about automation tools and why there is a huge demand for automation engineers in the IT industry right now. With that background, let us also see what this tool called Selenium WebDriver is offering to us. Selenium is one of the very consistent and most flexible tools that are available in the market today. We have several tools available for automation, but Selenium WebDriver is the market leader right now. And the simple reason why people are using Selenium WebDriver is it is an open source. The very reason that this tool is freely available makes it one of the leading option for the organizations to adopt. So people today who know Selenium WebDriver are being selected for automation by several organizations. If you look at several job sites, almost every automation job is expecting the employee to know Selenium WebDriver. That indicates what is the demand in the industry today. Let us see what are the topics that we will be covering as part of Selenium WebDriver. We will have to learn Java, which is the most fundamental thing for us to be able to use Selenium WebDriver very effectively and build efficient automation code to test the software. So we will start understanding Java and get a good understanding of different topics in Java. And after that, we will move on to WebDriver, which is very easy for us to understand once we learn the core Java concepts. Apart from WebDriver, we will also learn something called TestNG. TestNG will help us to control the execution of automation scripts in a sequential manner or in a parallel manner, and it offers many other benefits. So we will also learn about TestNG. Now the fourth one is Log4j, which will help us to capture the execution results or any other error information that occurs during automation script execution. It is a very widely used logging framework. We will understand Log4j so that we can build robust and very reliable automation scripts. As part of automation, you might also automate or validate database. So we will look at database. We will also understand a build automation tool, which will help us to trigger automation scripts very easily. We will also see what grid is Selenium Grid. And we also have to understand what automation framework is to be able to implement Selenium WebDriver for any software in an organization. So on the whole, at a very high level, these are the different topics that we will be covering as part of Selenium course going forward. Now, let us try to take a closer look at what is this Selenium WebDriver all about, or what is this tool Selenium all about. Let's try to put a definition and understand this tool, right? So Selenium is primarily is an open source tool, right? As I mentioned a few minutes ago, Selenium is an open source tool which is used for automated testing of different applications, primarily web applications. So it's an open source automated testing tool for web applications across different browsers and platforms. So if I have to define Selenium, this is what it is. And this is an open source, so we don't have to pay anything to use it. And it is the best solution to automate web applications. That means applications that are accessed using a browser. We can automate the application using different browsers. It can be Chrome browser, Internet Explorer, Firefox, so on and so forth, and different platforms also. So that makes the job a lot easier. We will be able to test and certify the software or the applications in a very short interval of time. And that is exactly what I said a few minutes back, that all the software organizations want to release their softwares very quick so that they can stand first in the competition and try to cover as many customers as possible. Now, with that background, we will try to understand which language does Selenium support. Now, when I say Selenium WebDriver is a tool, what is the language that it supports? What language should I use to develop my automation code? So Selenium has a lot of flexibility in this case. It supports at least 5 different languages to develop automation code. To start with, it supports Java, C#, Python, Ruby, Perl, PHP. Out of all these, Java is the most widely used language to develop automation scripts, and we will use Java to develop our Selenium WebDriver scripts. And that's the reason why we will learn Java as part of this course, right? There are people who also use C#, Ruby, Python to develop automation scripts, but Java is the most widely used language when it comes to Selenium WebDriver. And most of the interviews will happen on Java. That is the reason we will learn Java. Okay, so these are the languages supported by Selenium WebDriver, and based on the requirement, people will use appropriate language to build their scripts. Now, the next thing is, which are the different browsers that this Selenium WebDriver can work with, right? That's a very interesting question, because today the customers who are trying to use applications are primarily using web browsers to access the softwares. So it's very important to know which are the browsers that the tool supports. The Selenium WebDriver supports Internet Explorer, it supports Chrome browser, it supports Firefox, it supports Safari, and it supports Opera. So these are the 5 browsers that Selenium supports right now, and majority of the customers are using one of these browsers to access the software, right? So Selenium is capable of supporting all these browsers, which is a good news for us when it comes to automating any web application. Now, which are the different devices that Selenium can be used to run the scripts? This is the most important aspect of automation too. Today, as you know, people or customers are either using their laptops to access the application, Or these days, gradually, people are moving away from laptops to and using handheld devices, right? So Selenium supports both laptops as well as smartphones. Now, I would like to bring a point to your notice about Selenium WebDriver. There were two different projects that were running in parallel. One was Selenium RC, the other was WebDriver. These were two different projects altogether. So people thought these two projects should be merged to get the best advantage. So that's how WebDriver and Selenium RC projects were merged, and a new concept or new tool was born called Selenium WebDriver. Now, if someone says I'm using Selenium 2.0, it means he's using WebDriver. Selenium from 2.0 onwards is referred as WebDriver. It can be 2.0, 2.53, 3.0. Any version after 2.0 is called Selenium WebDriver. Okay. This is just for your better understanding. With that background, let us get introduced to Selenium WebDriver by taking an example rather than looking at the theoretical part. Let's take an example. I would like to show you a website, and we will try to perform some actions on the website. So that there is this website called buybooks.india.com, which is offering different books for the people to buy. So let me log into this application. I click on the login option here on the right side, and I have an email ID. I have a password. I try to sign in to the website, right? So I signed in because you see, I can see the option log out. Now I would like to search for a book titled Write Your First Program, right? And click on the search button. So I get the results, and there is a book by title Write Your First Program, and this is the cost of it. Let me log out after searching, right? So this is a simple scenario, right? This is a simple scenario where we try to log into buybooks.india.com first, search for a book with title Write Your First Program, and finally log out. It's a simple scenario that I have picked up so that you will understand how Selenium WebDriver can help us automate the testing of a software. Okay. Now we have also seen what are the operations or actions involved in this simple scenario. Now we will try to automate this particular scenario using Selenium WebDriver. Now I am using something called Eclipse, which you don't have to worry at this point in time. I would like to make a statement before I start developing the automation script or code. Please do not attempt to understand the code or any other programming thing that I perform right now, because the intent to demonstrate this particular program to you is to help you understand how can we automate software using Selenium WebDriver. We will gradually understand the programming part at a later point in future when we discuss every topic in detail. Right now, you don't have to understand anything related to code. I am just trying to show you how can we automate using WebDriver. Let's keep it very simple and straight. So I am going ahead and creating an automation script to automate the steps: login, searching of a book, and logout. So I am creating a program in my editor. Let me start putting down the code which will help me to perform the operations. System.set_property. I am trying to configure Chrome browser, right? Because I want to launch Chrome browser and perform the operations. That's what I am trying to do here. Okay. Then I am going to call Chrome browser here, right? I am writing a line of code so that Chrome browser is activated and it is launched, right? After Chrome browser is available, I am trying to do certain configurations, right? Saying that, look, whenever you try to access the browser and try to access a website, the application or this website will take some time. So wait for the browser to respond. Don't hurry. And that's what I'm saying by setting the timeout value. Okay. And then I'm saying if the browser is not in a maximized state, please maximize. After which I would like to navigate to a particular URL, which is buybooks.india.com. Right? I'm navigating to the site. After I navigate, the next step is I would like to log in. So if I have to log in, I have to write some information about the controls that we see on the screens, right? I have to instruct Selenium WebDriver to go perform an operation like click on the login link here. So I have to pass the information about this login link to Selenium WebDriver so that it can go and do the job for us, right? So nothing to worry at this point in time. Just observe. I would like to hit on the login link. Then I would like to enter username, password, details, which is the email address. So let's see what is this email address. Okay, I am also trying to tell WebDriver, look, the email field is available with this information. So please go ahead and provide the email in this field. Right? It's pretty simple. We will also do the same thing for the password. Right? We're just trying to map the fields in the screen by taking some information. So I have the password. Then finally, I have to click on the sign in button. So let's go see what is this button having. The button has some information. So I will go back and provide the code here to click the sign in button. Right? So let's try to provide the email address and then the password and click on sign in button. We are logged in. The next thing is I would like to enter the text into the search box, right? I wish to enter the information search box. Now, what's that information? It's nothing but write your first program. Correct? That's what we would like to enter. Then hit on this search button. So let's provide information about the search button. Once search button is hit, we should be able to get the search results, right? Let's see whether the search results are displayed to us or not by giving some time for the program to wait. And then finally, we would like to log out. After this is available to us, we would like to log out. So I have to go hit on this link if I have to log out. And for that, I have to provide a line of code, right? The link, it's a fairly simple job. We will hit the logout button at the end. So after we log out, that brings us to the end of this scenario, simple scenario of logging into the website, searching for a book, and then logging out of the website. Okay, so we are all set to now go ahead and execute this program to see how well it will work for us. Let me run this program. Okay, the browser is launched. See that? The browser is launched. And we now have to navigate to this website, buybooksindia.com. And then the login link is clicked. The username and password information is entered. Sign in button is clicked. The page is navigated. We have searched for the book and the results are listed. And we finally click on the logout link, right? So whatever we have done manually, the automation script is able to do the same thing exactly in a very short time and without having to sit in front of the computer. I can simply execute this automation code and leave for the day. All the automation code will execute and I will be able to get the results the next day morning. So this is the power of automation, and when it comes to Selenium WebDriver, this is giving us the most consistent results. So that was an example of logging into buybooksindia.com, searching for a book with the title, write your first program, and then finally log out. I hope this demonstration was helpful to all of you to get a very basic understanding of what automation is and how we can achieve automation using Selenium WebDriver. We will surely meet again and discuss in detail on each and every topic and understand Selenium WebDriver using different examples and different applications so that you will be very comfortable to use Selenium WebDriver for automating any kind of software. Thank you everyone for attending the demo session.